Now, I know I haven't been the most consistent uploading videos, but you know what I have been consistent with? Jiu-Jitsu, baby. A lot has happened within the past year, as you can clearly tell. I also had to get some priorities straight.
This one is built around Toriandos and high step passing, so we're going to be doing everything against a supine opponent like so. The first thing we're going to look at is faithing.
Your boy has finally been promoted to blue belt. And not just any other Joe Blow coach, but Bubby freaking Mitchell. And it turns out that this guy actually doesn't hand these things out. I mean, you really gotta earn this. And as long as I've been training, I haven't had any serious injuries until the night I got my blue belt. My dad started training jiu-jitsu way before it was even cool, like early 2000s cool. My dad had to drive an hour and a half away to Atlanta multiple times a week just to get some kind of proper structured training in jiu-jitsu under Jacare. Jacare's in Atlanta was literally the closest thing we had around at that time. My dad drove up there multiple times a week, did that for a while, eventually got his blue belt after winning a tournament as a white belt. And he was a huge inspiration on why I got interested in martial arts anyway. I started training Taekwondo when I was 5, and I eventually got my 3rd degree black belt about 8.5 years. And Dad, meanwhile, was a sheriff, MMA fighter, and a pastor. Heck of a combo right there. I started training jiu-jitsu when I was 15 back in 2012. Did it pretty inconsistently until about when I was 17. I got married, had a full-time job, had a baby, forgot all about jiu-jitsu really. I had always had this thought in my mind. I was like, well, when I get where I want to be in life, that's when I'll start training again. Newsflash, I'm nowhere near where I want to be in life, just saying. It was June 2020, back in the middle of the pandemic. My buddy William, who I worked with at the time, said that he trained jiu-jitsu at Rush. And I'm like, no way, I would love to train with you, man. How about you come over to my garage one day and we'll get some training in together. And I kid you not, for a solid 4 months, we did nothing but roll and do Gracie combatives. And meanwhile, this motivated my dad to start training again. And he invited our good old friend Purple Belt Phil over, and he became a great training partner and friend as well. Continuing on, I would visit various open mats to get some extra experience rolling with different body types, different styles. So if you're training with like the same 3-4 people every single week, you really do start limiting your growth because you understand the reactions they're going to give you. I also started dropping into classes to get some actual structured teaching, as well as using MG in action in some of my favorite BJJ Fanatics instructionals. Still being pandemic time, late 2021, I eventually signed up to an official gym here in my town. Now this place was really small, but within my first 3.5 months of training there, the gym finally closed down due to some personal reasons. But I met my best friends Trey and Jerome, whom I still train with even to this day. And if some of you recall, I did do my first jiu-jitsu competition in April 2022 at the Rush Cup. And that's when I made the decision that Rush will be my official gym. And it was one of the best decisions I had ever made. The quality of teaching, the talents, the athleticism, and the characters are absolutely top-notch at this place. So March, we had a belt ceremony, which would be the first belt ceremony I have ever been to. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll go participate and at least get my green belt, because American Top Team, I almost said American something.
Hold up.
I really don't know why I almost said that. American Top Team does this thing, instead of giving you 3 to 4 stripes on your white belt, they'll just give you a green belt, because honestly, your first couple years of jiu-jitsu can be very, very brutal. A green belt's a way to remind you that, hey, you're still making progress, even though your first 1.5 years sure as heck doesn't feel like it. My dad even participated, and to our surprise, being a blue belt of 22 years, he finally received 2 stripes on his blue belt. I'm extremely proud of him, 55 years old, still going strong. So our head coach, Bubby, starts talking about a real sandbagger in the gym. And then he calls me out. Now, I've never been one to care much about belt ranking systems in jiu-jitsu, because even when I started, it wasn't anything traditional. We didn't do belts or anything. You're just either good or you ain't. But the adrenaline rush I received was huge. To look down and see blue on my waist, it was, I mean, when I see this belt, I literally can't help but think of the journey that it took to get here. Now it's ceremonial throw time, or what I like to call injury time. Bubby hits a cool fireman carry, and then Q does a hip toss. Now, me just receiving a blue belt and actually feeling worthy of having one, I screwed up this break fall pretty badly, and you'll see why. I don't know if I want to keep it Japanese and call this a haragoshi or just a simple hip throw. When he did this hip throw, I kept my legs together, which caused my knees to collapse just like this. and unfortunately my left knee was the one on the floor, which was wedged on the other side, so my knees clapped. I immediately felt a nasty burning sensation down my leg. Like I felt like someone took a flaming knife and just started stabbing my knee with it repetitively. It almost kind of felt numb in a way too. All I could think of at the moment was like, oh God, please don't let me have torn my MCL. So I stood up, walked over to Derek, and thankfully I wasn't wobbling or anything. I'm still able to walk. Derek hits his takedown, which actually looks a lot worse than Q's, but it didn't hurt whatsoever. And then I hit the slickest arm drag on Lathan, which is probably the cleanest one I'll ever get on him anyway. The irony of finally receiving a blue belt and getting a serious injury the same night. It just blows me away. It hurt to jog, it hurt to shoot for takedowns. I could not get on my knees whatsoever without screaming. Did I stop training? I probably should have for at least a couple weeks. My first 4 weeks, all I did was drill. I stayed away from rolling completely, and then even after that, I would always choose my partners very wisely, and I would kind of do like a flow roll and work my way around my knee, where we just like do some positional stuff. But I never stopped. It took maybe this thing 2.5 months to get good enough to where I could roll normally again. And then right now it's perfectly fine now, thank God. Turns out I had some severe nerve damage in my leg. Even when I touch it today, it still feels really numb. It's always the stupid stuff that gets us hurt. The dangerous stuff that we do, jiu-jitsu, is always the dumb things that get us injured. So no matter where you are in life right now, you may have been like me. You may be waiting for everything to line up in your life in order for you to start or for you to continue and go back. You might as well keep waiting, my friend, because nothing's ever gonna turn out exactly the way you want it to. Just forget about the rest and jump in cold turkey. If you have a busy schedule, find a friend or family member who's willing to start training with you. No matter where you are in life, go get after it. You in 5 years will definitely appreciate it. I'll see y'all next time.